Hello YouTube, it is Chris here, and in today's episode we're going to be talking about why people are panicking. Welcome back everybody, and thank you for sticking with me. So this is a very different video than you guys are used to seeing from me. I either have a ton of gear on, but that's neither here nor there. So why are people panicking? Well, we think we know, and I think I have a pretty good grasp on it too. But for those who are preppers, we're like, well, you should have been prepping the whole time. And that's not the attitude I think we should have with this, actually. Though humorous with some of the memes that are out there, it doesn't do anyone else in the community any good. Neither does the panic shoppers. That doesn't do the people any good at all in either way. However, I kind of can empathize with why they're doing it, because they're thinking chemically and emotionally rather than logically. But when you have these crazy news headlines of schools getting closed down, they're closing down concert venues, movie theaters, they're having talks about airports, cruise ships, all the sporting events, basketballs, all that stuff just getting shut down, it makes people like, what, why, huh? And they start paying attention. And then in the midst of that, the WHO goes, that word that I'm flashing across the screen. And it causes people to think irrationally. Now, one thing that gives me hope, though, what I'm seeing right now in my hometown, what I'm seeing in my community. Now, in the greater San Antonio area where I live, there is like 2.25 million people here. A lot of freaking people. A lot of people. However, there are the outliers of people acting a little cray-cray, but with that, for the most part, people are being pretty dang decent. Another development with all of this is with the media and the social media. They're covering it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because it's a hot button item, like it or not. It's all over the place. It's around the world. There's nothing we can do about it. Even I covered it. I'm trying to bring a sense of calm to the whole situation in my little tiny little microscopic nugget of the world, because I don't think it's like this crazy disaster thing. I think people should be very smart and listen, wash your hands, self-isolation if you can. Do those things. Do all those things. But like I said, something that's given me a lot of hope is in the school districts. Our school district specifically, for instance, had like 6 locations where they were donating food to those families who their kids couldn't get the school breakfasts and luncheons anymore. They were having these big, huge drives. Now, there were thousands of people lining up on these things, and they had police presence there just to keep the peace and keep things orderly in fashion. Everybody was being pretty respectful. But it was bringing a lot of hope, seeing that our community was making these things happen. The community were thinking about the people who needed to be helped. And that, amidst all of that, is kind of reassuring. Also, when we were at one of the more essential places that people can go if they get into shelter in place, or places like Costco, Sam's Club, and Walmart. Walmart, with all its flaws and horrible things they do, they are trying to limit the store hours. They're limiting quantities, so more people can have access to the essential supplies they need, whatever they feel they need when they go shopping. And also, I think on Tuesday, at least in our city, I don't know if it's nationwide or anything, but on Tuesdays, before the store opens, they're allowing the elderly who need assistance in time and isolation, and who the people who are most at risk during this time, to be able to go shopping privately, which is super amazing. I know it might just be to save face. You can say whatever you want in the comments, but it's nice to see it happening. Places like Costco, they are taking 0 chances on making sure they can try to keep consumers safe as they can, at least with the fomites that are out there, that are inanimate objects you can touch to get yourself infected. There are staff that are in the bathroom 24 hours a day. There are people at the registers. There are people that are spraying the carts. There are people that are wiping and disinfecting the carts down as you walk in. There are people with every single transaction. There are people posted at the self-checkouts and other registers and keypads and screens and all that stuff to disinfect there. So it's kind of, for me, that might send people into some sort of panic, going, oh my God, it's so serious, if they have a higher level of anxiety. But what it did for me is go, wow, people are taking this seriously, and I feel a little bit better about being in this place because it's cleaner. People are taking it seriously. There are precautionary measures. They're putting signs up for social distancing. They're doing some things. And whether you think this thing is overblown or overhyped, it actually doesn't matter, because enough people do feel that the hype is real. And that's sadly all that it takes. So that's all it needs to be, is enough people to believe the hype is real. and everyone else either has to blow it off or kind of find ways to adjust, fire, and maneuver inside that space of worry and anxiety and fear, and try to find ways to shore up their situation on their own too. So making sure they have their finances and jobs and everything else in order, because if they don't, they're not going to necessarily be able to go shopping and do all the things they wanted to do because of what's going on. So it doesn't matter if you buy into it, you're a prepper, you're a non-prepper, it's something we're all kind of stuck dealing with. Now, should people have been prepping the whole time? Of course. Should we be making fun of people and calling them ignorant and stupid and all that stuff for not prepping ahead of time? Absolutely not. There's no reason for that. What we should be doing is spreading the word, trying to help the community, and help people understand that prepping makes sense because if things like this happen, and even if they don't buy into the end of the world scenarios, it doesn't matter. There are things like job losses, natural disasters, economic collapse, just getting into like a vehicular accident and you break a vital bone in your body, you can't work for 3 to 6 months. Do you have enough food, water, and finances and things like that to take care of your family while you're out of work? Or if you were to pass away, sadly, if that was the thing that happened, do you have the ability to make that happen? So prepping in a very grounded sense makes sense. It's not stupid, it's not silly, and we should be trying to help our fellow neighbor and kind of converting people to the glorious virtues of prepping, because it's a very smart thing to do. And especially even if people only have things for 30 or 60 days tops. Do you realize the burden that would be taken away and taken off of local, state, and federal governments? The society as a whole wouldn't be, there would be less panic because more people would be ready for those events. And sadly, that's not the case right now, but it doesn't mean it can't be that way in the future. It doesn't mean we can't come with a sense of compassion and understanding and calm and let people know that it will be okay. Just prepare. Don't panic. It'll be okay. Now, when I said that this is your last chance to prepare, I do agree with that. I do think it's your last chance to prepare because of the fact that I'm getting a lot of information coming down the pipeline. We were at Bass Pro to get some other supplies, and we heard from different managers that corporate is flirting with the idea of closing down Bass Pro Shop stores on Sunday. So that's a huge retailer all across the country that's going away. That could add to some type of panic.
This is Nationwide. Shotguns, rifles, handguns. People are buying whatever is left in the store, and dealers say they can't even find ammunition. That's gone.
Walmart has flirted with the idea of going online only. I don't think that's going to happen because I've gotten contradictory information saying that they're looking to try to hire like 500,000 people nationwide to help with keeping the store stocked, keeping the stores clean, keeping the stores ready to go so people can do those essential purchases and things they need to do for grocery shopping, pharmacies, and all that stuff. So I don't see that as the thing. However, making this video was kind of gut-wrenching for us to make because of something that's going on in our family. My kid's grandmother has a respiratory illness infection, and we're not sure what it is. We're not saying anything. We don't know.
But they were doing okay, so.
Yeah. Well, I hope you do feel better.
Thank you. I'm sure I will. It just takes me a while.
However, she did go talk to her doctor again because it hasn't gotten better in the past 3 or 4 days, and she is getting tested for the thing across the screen that we're not going to talk about. So it is very concerning. I'm very worried because she is elderly, and yes, that's the greatest risk factor, and that's what we're worried about because she's very near and dear to our heart. And a lot of people are like, you don't know anybody who has these issues. And we might actually personally know someone, and that's very, very, very heart-wrenching because it's a very, very close family member to us. So for anybody who may or may not be going through the same situations and having those issues, I will be praying for you guys in a general prayer. I hope you guys are staying safe. With that said, all I can tell you guys is it's going to be okay. Don't panic. It'll probably be very tough, if not extremely hard at times, no matter what goes on, however long it lasts. But no matter what it is, whether it's a hype train or it's worse than we're even imagining, it doesn't matter. Because we're in it right now, we have to deal with it, but the only thing we can do is do it together and be positive. So hopefully you guys will get this video, not be too mad at me for the clickbaity title and the thumbnail, but understand that this video is a message to try to get people to understand that it is what it is. There's nothing else we can do about it, but stick together and be safe and be calm. So hopefully everybody is, like I said, doing okay. See you in the next one.